Ayad's a Man United fan. What do you want to say, Ayad?
Hi, guys.
Hiya.
Yeah, just to say, unfortunately, I think that one of the biggest problems at United is the board. They're generally happy with top four and the financial incentives that come with that, and don't have much more ambition than that. And whilst Ollie's a legend of the club, I'm not convinced that he'll be the manager to get us closer to City. And unfortunately, I think Fernandes is such a good player and is so ambitious, as your interview showed. But I'm worried that this time next season that there'll be a lot of talk of him moving on because I think he'll come to realise that the club as a whole doesn't have the same sort of ambition that he does.
It's like any great footballer, isn't it, out there? If you have a good season with a big club, which Manchester United are, there's going to be other clubs interested in you. And listen, there's no doubt whatsoever, but players at Liverpool and Chelsea and Manchester City and Manchester United will interest other big clubs. But you need to try and persuade them to stay with you. Now, Manchester City are going for the quadruple. They could persuade all their players. They've just persuaded De Bruyne to sign a new contract and stay at Manchester City. You know what I mean? So, of course, if he's one of the best players around and other teams have got more ambition and he sees a better chance of winning trophies elsewhere, he'll go.
Yeah, but what's the
same as any player?
What's the recent history of that? How many of Manchester United's better players have put their hand in the air and said, I definitely want to leave this club? Ronaldo was probably the last one. I may be wrong. There may be some in between. But Rashford signed a new contract. He would be wanted elsewhere. He's that kind of player. They wanted Lukaku to go, which we're still bewildered by it, but they wanted him to go. It wasn't that he was desperate to leave. They wanted him out of the football club.
Oh, it's a great place to be at. Manchester United is an unbelievable football club.
But what I'm saying
there's
is...
no doubt about it. Yes, so
Ayad has raised the point that Bruno Fernandes is playing well, so he might want to go, or other clubs might want him. That really hasn't happened.
Yes, but these are clubs that... This team, Manchester United, was winning trophies. They're now not winning trophies at this moment in time. They might have one by the end of the season, but then at this moment, as we're talking, they haven't won anything. So if that carries on, players ain't going to stay there because it's Manchester United.
No, they're not. But he's also having to go at the board for maybe not matching the ambition or getting the players to bring in trophies. What was it? 80 million on Maguire, 90 million on Pogba, 50-odd million on Wan-Bissaka, 50-odd million on Fred. You can't say they haven't signed players. The wages Cavani will be on will be phenomenal. You can't say they haven't spent the money. Now, I'm not saying the Glazers are great owners. I think there's many reasons why they're not. But I think the fact that they got Bruno Fernandes in a January window as a player they definitely wanted, they saw that over the line, and he's there. He's their player, and he's flipping good. Morris is a Man United fan. Hi, mate. You're on talkSPORT.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. Sorry about the noise. I'm just in Sainsbury's.
Okay.
I just want to...
All the supermarkets are available.
Stay safe. Keep distant.
Sorry, I just want to bring up the point the other caller was making. When you look at Man United, right, they're not a club anymore that go for trophies. Adrian, you brought up the point about signing Bruno Fernandes in the January transfer window. If Spurs had paid $5 million more, they would have signed him in the summer. We only signed him because we had injuries to other players. And there was a report
You did
going
sign
around.
him. I mean, you can come up with all sorts of urban myths about this might have happened, this might... He's a Man United player.
All right, I know, we did sign him. But when you look at things that happen from board level, right, the club isn't running away to say success is what we want in winning trophies. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got top four for the next 5 years, they'll be happy with that. The fans want success. Some of the players want success, but that's not what the owners want. Other clubs run differently because success and winning trophies, that's what they want. That's not the same.
So are you saying this is why Solskjaer said what he said, that trophies are an ego thing? Do you think he's just, he's on board with the owners in saying what you think, that the trophies aren't that important?
Well, it could be, but I'm sure he would like to win trophies. But for Man United, currently, it's just a bonus for them. Top four is the main aim. That's from what I see.
I can see that from the owners, but when you've got a manager and you've got people on the staff like Michael Carrick who won the lot, you've got players you've got a World Cup winner in your midfield. I can't imagine they're all sitting there saying, "Oh, couldn't care less about trophies." That's not how footballers work. At that level, that's definitely not how they work.
Dear.
So maybe the owners are irrelevant. When it comes to match day, the owners are really irrelevant. Matt's a Man United fan. What do you want to say, Matt?
Yeah. I mean, I think you're reading a bit too much into what Solskjaer has said, to be honest. I think probably it may have been a sly dig at Mourinho because he's the one who likes to use trophies to to inflate his ego. I'm sure Solskjaer's ambitions are exactly the same as Fernandes, and not Solskjaer, but Man United as a club should be challenging for the Premier League and the Champions League when we get back into it.
How do you know? How do you know that? I mean, he came out and said it, right? So the problem is, or is he just taking pressure off himself? Is he taking pressure off himself, but it's not about trophies? He's looking deeper than that. He might be looking at style of play, the performances, the type of player, the players coming through the system and getting into the first team, which has always been a thing at Manchester United, which we admire so much. So there might be other things in his head rather than it all being about winning.
No, you could see on the smile on his face when he said it that it was, maybe having a sly dig at someone.
Well, you can't have a sly dig at Mourinho. He's been a great manager.
Well, I detest the man, but
he's been a great manager, though, hasn't he? You might detest him, but he's been a great manager who's won trophies.
At Man United, he won trophies.
Wherever he's been.
Yeah, he did. He won, Europa League, and he won the League Cup, which at the moment is more than Solskjaer has done. But United as a club should be aiming for the bigger prizes than them two. So.
I agree with that, but it did strike me as odds, given Man United's history and his own success with Man United as a player, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should use trophies and can almost belittle trophies, just to have a dig at Mourinho.
Well, I think it's one place that Solskjaer's improved his interviews. He needed to improve quickly.
Yeah.
He's had some poor interviews after the game, hasn't he? And got his words muddled up. But I think he's been quite clear, the message, the last probably 4 or 5 months, 3, 4 months, where I think he's been pretty solid with his message.